She gon' flirt in front of her nigga. She like Fago, you getting bigger. I remember when you was a little nigga. Got shots like that boy Tigger. No, you don't be putting no trigger. Don't wanna have to blick up on nobody. Don't know why these niggas said he wanna try me. Daddy. I knew Shorty was a thot. Off in the mind. Coming this squad like I hit a lottery. You see me glow up. You the hold up. That you down for me. Who's there at the door right now? If you don't open it, ho, we gon' keep eating.
Yo guys, what is up? We're back with we're basically here with a new what if. And as you can see in the thumbnail, we're back with what if Ichigo joined Aizen. Or now we're back with, this is a new series. Now, if you guys weren't OG fans, you would have known that my origins are Bleach what ifs, so might as well try to remember my past. Now, basically, the storyline would pretty much start off right after Ichigo came back from the bounce arc. He had just finished a filler movie where he doesn't save Senna, like Senna sacrificed her life. So basically saves Soul Society yet again. He saves Soul Society yet again with a bounce, and he doesn't even get a thank you. He's been quite pissed with the Soul Society in general. Especially those 46 old men who think they can actually control everyone. And they're just that old men. They barely have any Ryatsu. They think just because they're from some noble clans, they can have authority over others. He's starting to think like maybe Aizen was right about becoming the Soul King, they said it was. Kisuke didn't say much about it, but maybe I should go ask him. Ichigo would get up and basically go in Shinigami form. He would then pretty much walk over to none other than Kisuke's shop, basically. He would then walk in and say, "Yo, Urahara, it's time we talk." Urahara kind of be like jokey about it. It's like, Kurosaki-san, what do you need? Ichigo would pretty much say, "Who's the Soul King?" After this, Kisuke under his fan would pretty much start to turn serious. He says, "Ichigo, I don't think you want to know about him." Ichigo would start to prod. He said, "I want to know who the Soul King is. Why is Aizen even pretty much trying to be the Soul King anyway in the first place?" Kisuke would then say that he really doesn't understand Aizen, and he just really wants, Aizen really wants to just be Soul King. The thing about the Soul King is he isn't even a living being. He's literally a linchpin. He's only alive just for him to stay alive. Now, Ichigo, I'm gonna tell you a story. A story about 5 people. These are the people responsible for the sealing of the Soul King. Now, the first clan was the Shiba clan. These people are a relatively peaceful clan, and they actually are the people who said they should cleanse the hollows. They brought up a whole process of cleansing hollows, and they're the reasons why we cleanse hollows and send them to Soul Society. Next clan were the Shihoan clan. Now, these clans really just wanted to be neutral. And after that is the Sonayushiro clan. Now, these people were the most scared of the Soul King's power. Now, they didn't really want the Soul King to be dominant in their area. So they said they wanted to seal him into a crystal, and they're also the reason why he's just a lifeless corpse who has almost he lost his legs, his arms, he doesn't even have a heart anymore. He's just lifeless. That's the Soul King. And then there's the Kuchiki clan. Now, these people protect the records of Soul Society. They work under the Sonayushiro clan, but they pretty much have a little less power. They pretty much do the same thing as the Sonayushiro clan. They protect history. And Shihoans have the heirlooms, like the Shihoan crest, and the Shiba clan have the missile that sends them to the royal palace. before the incident took place where Kokaku actually was her Oaken got taken away. Now, Kisuke would say that it's actually his fault that the Oaken got taken away from, Kokaku Shiba. The reason why, and I'm just making this up, it's just a theory I always thought was right. So Kisuke would say that when they were kids, he really he wanted to go to the Royal Palace, and because of that, Kokaku got in trouble, and she got her Oaken removed, since it's a pretty serious crime if you just go to the Royal Palace for no reason. But yeah, after this, Ichigo would say, "Is that it? Is that why Aizen wants to be sulking? Because he just doesn't like the sulking or something like that." Urahara would say he doesn't quite understand it himself. He thinks maybe Aizen just doesn't like how the Soul Society is and wants to change it. Ichigo would say, okay, mind if I use your training ground or your underground training facility?" Urahara says, "By all means. You also have the hollow problem, right? Maybe you should I have a group of people who wouldn't mind helping you out." Ichigo would say, "Oh, really? I'll think about it." Ichigo would start to head downstairs to the underground facility that Kisuke has. Once he would get there, he would pretty much go Bankai and basically go into the Jinzen form, like meditation form. He would then go into his inner world, where he would then see this guy and he would scream out for Zangetsu, where are you? He would then look up and he'd see this guy in a hood. He'd say, "Zangetsu, is that you?" Since it looked like similar clothing. The person would say, "No, I'm not Zangetsu. You don't know the name of your own Bankai?" Ichigo would look at his sword and say, "Tenso Zangetsu." After this, the person would lift their hood and say, "Yes, Ichigo. I am Tenso Zangetsu." Now, basically, Tenso Zangetsu would say, if the inner world would be freaking flooded, bro. Like, damn. It'd kind of be like, in the Don guy. Tenso Zangetsu would say that Ichigo has fallen into despair, just like his older self has told him not to. Tenso Zangetsu says he hates the rain. He would proceed to say that he hates the rain and he doesn't want to see this place riddled with nothing but rain and water. After this, Ichigo would say, "What am I supposed to do? Aizen is literally gonna become the Soul King. What can I do?" Tenso Zangetsu would say, "You don't even know your own Zanpakuto or nothing about yourself. Why don't you go ask Ishin?" Basically saying, kind of what Otetsu no Maya told Ichigo. Say, how can you even know how can you get your Zanpakuto if you don't even know yourself? After this, Ichigo could say, "Ishin, isn't he a human?" Tenso Zangetsu would say, basically reprimand him for being stupid and realize that only Shinigami can only get powers if they're from DNA or something like that, along the lines of DNA, and that a human son of humans can actually have Shinigami powers, and that he should use this head. And Tenso Zangetsu basically say, aren't you always curious why your Ryatsubu's blue? It kind of looked like Uryu, doesn't it? He just gives him a hint there. Now, Tenso Zangetsu would say, "Try to balance out your powers. You shouldn't just, you should also use your instincts, but you should also use your logic. Try to balance out the logic and the instinctual side." After this, Ichigo would thank Tenso Zangetsu before going out of his inner world. He would go upstairs and he'd ask Kisuke, "Hey, what are those techniques where you basically say those incantation like it looks like it's magic?" Kisuke would say, "Oh, you mean Kido? Are you interested in the arts of Kido?" Ichigo would say, "Yeah. Do you think it's possible I can learn it?" Kisuke, "Yeah. I mean, that's definitely possible. I make a lot of Kidos, so yeah, I should be able to teach you. Come back here around 2 days from now. around 10 a.m. You can skip school because let's just say you started to be an apprentice at the great Urahara Shoten. Um, Ichigo would sweatshop saying, "All right, fine." Ichigo would then head home before asking his dad, "Hey, um, are you a Shinigami?" Pretty much. Uh, Ishin would pretty much sigh and basically said, "Huh, I guess it's a little too early, but hey, it is what it is." Um, Ishin would tell him everything about in the chapter everything but the rain, and Ichigo would realize that the old man isn't even a Zanpakuto. Ichigo would then head outside. It was like nighttime, and he would go in Jinsen, and he'd see, he'd have the similar conversations as old man Zangetsu, to what basically the to like similar to what he did in chapter 540. Uh, and Zangetsu would basically say, in compensation for me not telling you, I'm gonna give you some nice powers, or not powers, but something similar to that. Ichigo would pretty much get his full bring powers here. I know it's not like really explained, but like I just want to give him his full bring powers. I don't want to give him like the Quincy blade and the hollow blade a little early. I don't want to give him to it just yet. After this, Ichigo would pretty much come out as like Jinzen with a full bring Shikai, and he'd basically be like looking at it, inspecting the weapon, and they'd be like, "Yo, this is the trip." Nah, but just kidding. After this, there'd be like a portal would start to open by him. After this, none other than Sosuke Aizen himself would pretty much come out of the portal. Aizen would say, Kurosaki Ichigo. I guess you figured it out a little earlier than usual. It's definitely everything still technically went to plan. He'd reach out his hand. He said, "Join me. Aren't you sick of the Soul Society? Always trying to control you." Ichigo would say, Ichigo would get in a fighting pose and say, I'm never joining you." After this, Aizen pretty much quickly flashed up in behind Ichigo and pretty much grabbed the pass he uses to go into Shinigami form. Then flash back to his original position. Say, he would pretty much show the Shinigami pass. He says, "See this? This isn't even what do you think this is?" Ichigo would respond, "This is the Shinigami pass, which makes me turn into a Shinigami." Aizen would chuckle. "That's false. That Shinigami pass actually monitors you and keeps your spiritual pressure limited." Aizen then shattered it and basically said, "If you really wanted to go Shinigami form, you could just will it, and you can easily go it. You don't need these pathetic items." I thought you knew better, Kurosaki Ichigo. Guess your evolutions were only small, but I've seen you gain the power of Ginjo. Interesting, but never really was my type. After this, Ichigo would question, "What do you mean, what power?" Aizen would pretty much explain to them that there's these group of people called Fullbringers who basically use the power of the soul as a representation, similar to Quincy's, but little more complicated. Aizen pretty much tell him about all the secrets of Soul Society, something along the lines of Kisuke planning for 100 years and to seal him, and then Ichigo is similar. Ichigo is pretty much just a pawn in Kisuke's plan, and he'd pretty much reiterate the point, saying that are you gonna let are you gonna let the Soul Society control you? Central 46 is so corrupt. The noble families get to do whatever they want. The Rakangai is not even is so poor. It's like the poorest country in Soul Society, while the Serete is rich. If they wanted to, they can easily fix the Rakangai. He would then ask again, "Join me," and join the Espada, saying that he could, when he becomes Soul King, he promises to fix these things, and he says that when he gets the Oaken, he isn't actually going to sacrifice any souls, and saying that the 100,000 souls or the people won't even die. So he's just using their little Ryatsu, so he can make their Oaken into himself. After this, Ichigo would be a little convinced, and he'd say, "I'll think about it." Aizen say, "Take all the time you want, Kurosaki Ichigo. Don't worry. When you're ready, I'll know when you're ready, pretty much." Ichigo pretty much head back to his house, and he does sleep for the night. Ichigo would pretty much wake up the next day and head to school. And on his way there, he'd see this blonde hair guy with weird teeth. After this, the guy would be none other than Hiraku Shinji. After this, Hiraku Shinji would be pretty much doing what any other anime pervert would do. I don't know what you'd say. He would go to every girl and say, "You're the love of my life," and I just being Shinji, okay. Shinji would pretty much ask Ichigo to join the Vizards, like when they're outside. Ichigo would say he doesn't need help controlling his hollow, and that he heard all about it from Urahara. Hiraku would say, "Oh, Urahara told you? Interesting." After this, Ichigo would pretty much participate in the next few classes, just being Ichigo Kurosaki, beating up bullies, and chilling with his friends. Now, when the lunch bell would ring, Ichigo would pretty much head upstairs with his friends, and like Uryu, Chad, and Orihime. And once they were up there, Ichigo would say that, make sure that nobody's up there. And he'd say, "Guys, yesterday, Aizen came." Everyone would be pretty shocked and say, "What do you mean?" Or he may be like, "What do you mean, Kurosaki-kun?" God, that's so cringy though. I can't even. Ichigo would say that Aizen actually offered Ichigo to join him, and that he'd actually fix all the problems in Soul Society. He didn't ask Uryu, "Remember when we were in Soul Society, the Rokage looked way different and way more poor, and way more it seemed like the Serite was more profitable than the Rokage. And don't you seem like this is a little unfair to all the dead souls that have to live there?" After this, Uryu would say, "Yeah, I can understand what you mean, Kurosaki." Chad would say, "Wherever you go, we'll be by your back. We are your friends." After this, Ichigo would say thanks before heading out. Now, in this timeline, Ichigo would still go to the Vizards for training, and in the middle of his training, he didn't actually. He'd pretty much head over to the warehouse, or he and Hiyori would have a similar battle. But Hiyori would pretty much be since Ichigo has full brink, you would pretty much she wouldn't really stand much of a chance. After this, they'd pretty much teach Ichigo how to basically master hollowification. Now, in this timeline, when Ichigo fights the Inner Hollow, instead of him having that whole illusions of him fighting Byakuya or him fighting Kenpachi, he would just be fighting Inner Hollow or Zangetsu. When Zangetsu would be fighting him, Ichigo would feel the difference in their power. He would think, "Why is my Getsuga so weaker than his? I thought Sensei Zangetsu told me something about this." Ichigo would try to remember the feeling of using his own Getsuga. He didn't want to imitate Hollow Ichigo anymore. He doesn't need his help. Ichigo would then feel his own Ryatsu before putting his Ryatsu into his blade. He said, "Getsuga Tensho." I can't even say it properly, but you know what I mean. Getsuga Tensho. After this, there'd be a huge wave of Getsuga being sent straight at Hollow Ichigo. Hollow Ichigo would pretty much widen his eyes before being sent flying back. When all the smoke would vanish, there you would see Hollow Ichigo bloody up. Hollow Ichigo would pretty much charge at Ichigo, and Ichigo would be like, "I guess this is it. I guess this is it." Ichigo would then drop his blade before Hollow Ichigo would stab him through the heart. But for some reason, Ichigo didn't even feel the pain. It's like he accepted the blade. Inner Ichigo or Hollow Ichigo would say, "I guess you figured it out. In order to basically have my power, you're gonna have to accept the blade. The blade doesn't hurt you if you really accept it. So that's why it didn't feel the pain." Hollow Ichigo would pretty much go on to say what Tensei Zangetsu would say, that he says that he doesn't. The reason why he says he doesn't want to He doesn't care about who Ichigo wants to protect. It's because he wants to protect Ichigo himself. But before all Ichigo would disappear, he says that he's actually gonna give him some of his power. Don't worry, Hollow Ichigo will actually be coming back, but this is just for the meantime. Now, after the fight would happen, the Hollow, like the Raging Hollow outside, that'd be fighting the Vizards, which is crack, and there'd be a horn mask left on Ichigo's face. Now, if you guys don't know what mask I'm talking about the Vasalorde mask that Hollow Ichigo used against Ukiura. Now, Ichigo would be able to use this mask, and when he uses the mask, his blade would actually turn white, or like a bleach colored white, and yeah, and he'd be able to start instinctively just try to learn the techniques, but he wouldn't really master them. So for the next around month, he would pretty much instinctively try to use the techniques using high speed regeneration and other stuff like that. And after this, one day Ichigo would pretty much be chilling with the Vizards after some training, and he actually started to learn some Kido, but he hasn't just only some books. After this, the Ukiura and Yami attack would happen, and Ichigo would head over there. Ukiura would say, Aizen-sama has told me that you wanted to join, or has requested to see you. After this, Ichigo and his friends would pretty much walk in the Garganta, and Kisuke would actually be surprised. Why would Ichigo join Aizen? He knows what's gonna happen. Until Kisuke would realize what he told Ichigo about the Soul King. You can easily see why Ichigo would want to join Aizen, since they personally have similar goals. So of course Ichigo would want to join Aizen. After this, Ichigo and his friends would pretty much head over to the main lobby of where Aizen is sitting at the throne room, and there would be all the Espada sitting down. Aizen would be like, I guess we're here. Let's have some tea. After this, he would pretty much pour everyone's tea, and he would hand one to Kurosaki, or Ichigo. Uh, um, Aizen pretty much tell everyone that Ichigo is now pretty much the prince of, like, this, like, not the Soul Society, but like the world, since Aizen's gonna be the Soul King. He has to have someone who's gonna rule Wake Mundo. So that's basically gonna be Ichigo. And I never, since I never seen anyone do Bleach What Ifs, I thought, why not do something unique? Now, after this, Aizen pretty much welcome in and pretty much tell them where all their um, quarters are. And he'd actually use the Hokyoku, not on Ichigo. He doesn't need to use the Hokyoku on Ichigo. Ichigo's friends, like, he'd use the Hokyoku on Uryu to make him more stronger, make him at his manga power level. Even stronger than that. You can manipulate the swords. He'd have the same power as more of the Stern Redders. For Chad, he'd realize that he doesn't need to use his powers on just his arms. He can make stuff out of that power. And Orihime, she'd start to go into swordsmanship. She realized that she should actually have more of that other side where she can have more resolve. So in this timeline, she would actually learn a pretty good technique, which I'll tell you about next episode. And pretty much Ichigo's friends would pretty much, I'm saying pretty much a lot, but they would get a lot of power. And this should pretty much deter against, Loli and Manoli trying to bully Orihime. So that wouldn't happen in this timeline. And everyone, Ichigo would be respected, and Grimmjow and Ichigo would be friends, since they would have a lot of spars. It's just I mean, Aizen didn't personally like it, since this could break Wake Up Mundo, or break Wake Up Mundo, or Las Noches, since the power release of anyone like Grand Raceros is not allowed for any Espada. So, but he would actually just tell them to go on the roof. Then he would be fine with it, since any time where Ichigo's actually progressing, he's actually fine with. So we're gonna actually, for all the guys that basically skipped until this moment, what's basically happening is Ichigo had just joined the Aizen. He got a little power boost. Now we're just before the Aranka's arc started. And without further ado, guys, it's gonna be the end of part 1 of What If Ichigo joined Aizen. And I should probably be doing another What If later on today. But without further ado, guys, peace out.